I made this one simple change to my diet and it has forever changed my body. In this video, I want to share exactly what that change was and how I've been able to sustain this weight loss throughout the past 2 years. I get it. It seems way too good to be true that there could be just one thing that you need to know to lose and maintain your weight loss. But when I thought about all the advice I give on this channel, I can really boil it down to one basic strategy that will help literally anybody. Are you ready for it? It's eating foods as grown. This is beneficial for a number of different health reasons, but it's particularly beneficial for weight loss for one reason that I'm going to focus on in this video. The reason why this is so crucial for weight loss is because foods as grown don't contain oil of any kind, shape, or form. Why is oil so detrimental for weight loss? Because it's pure liquid fat. You literally remove everything from the olive or from the coconut or from whatever type of oil you're using, avocado or walnut, flaxseed oil. Even cold pressed oils are still liquid fat. Regardless of how you ingest them, they're going to contain 9 calories per gram for every single kind of oil. If you recall, carbohydrates and protein only contain 4 calories per gram. So oil literally has double the amount of calories of the other macronutrients. And micronutrients don't have any calories, so that's not really an issue. Again, let's talk about olive oil. You're taking that olive, you're stripping it of all its nutrition until you boil down really to maybe a couple of vitamins, but mostly it's just the fat. You're taking away the protein, you're taking away the carbohydrate, you're removing all the fiber, all the antioxidants, the phytochemicals, everything that's beneficial to not only your health, but to maintaining an ideal weight. Oil is readily taken in by the body. It's absorbed at a rate that's extremely more efficient than it would be had it been contained in the original food. It's absorbed within a matter of minutes as opposed to a matter of hours if it were still contained in the olive itself. So anything that's taken in super fast by the body is going to be stored very readily. Oil contains 120 calories per tablespoon. That is a ridiculous amount of calories for such a tiny little amount. The body doesn't even register these calories properly because we're taking it in so quickly and storing it so quickly that it really goes underneath the radar. So not only are you taking in more calories, but oil also stimulates overconsumption because research has shown that when participants consume oil prior to ingesting their meal, they tend to eat a number of calories more so than they would have when they do not eat the oil. So if you think about the basic principles of calorie density, you really only have an allotted amount of calories to take in throughout the day. So if those calories are all coming from oil, you literally have this much space to be eating anything else. And I don't know about you, but I'm a huge volume person. I need to see a big bulky meal in order for my satiety mechanisms to really kick in. If I'm not eating a large meal, I'm just not satisfied. And that's the beauty of a plant-based diet, right? You get to eat as much as you possibly can, following the principles of calorie density. Where is oil on this chart? Way at the bottom. It's literally 4,000 calories per pound. That is the most fattening food on the planet. You remove this from your diet, you inevitably lose weight. Let's talk about where oil is found, because this is actually very insidious and ubiquitous throughout the traditional food supply. So you would normally consider oil to be found in oil, right? Just bottled oil. But it's also found in a number of different baked goods, even granola bars and quote unquote health bars and cookies, cakes, brownies, pastries, pizza crust, and especially muffins and bread. That's why they are so addicting. Not to mention the salt and the sugar, but lots and lots of oil are used to make bread and muffins. You should look at the nutrition label every single time you buy these items. But it certainly does not stop there. You also have to be very judicial when it comes to things like sauces and dips, particularly salad dressings. Even seemingly healthful foods like hummus, for instance, is drenched in oil. Have you ever opened a store-bought hummus and not had just a complete ring of oil around the outside? And you can watch it flow across the garbanzo beans as you move it from side to side. It's so gross. And yes, a lot of that is tahini as well, but tahini is just another step down from oil. So you really want to refrain from that too if you're trying to lose any amount of weight. Salad dressings are packed full of oil. Always, always, always read your salad dressing labels. So some other seemingly innocuous items that contain oil, almost always consistently, are things like dried fruit and nuts. Why would you want to put oil in these things? They're already packed full of calories. It's because it makes them even more palatable and more addictive. So the more of these highly palatable substances they can put into the food, the more likely you're going to get addicted to them and keep coming back for more and consume way more than you had planned to begin with. Who can eat just one nut or one date? I can't. I literally insert my hand in the bag. That is why I do not buy either of those anymore. I buy them for my daughter because she needs the calories. But when she gets older, those are going to be slowly reduced as well. Some other really surprisingly places I have found added oils are things like plant milk. Why would you put oil in plant milk? That is so gross. Who wants to be drinking oil? But it's true. Look at your next box of soy milk or almond milk or coconut milk. These tend to always contain oil. Sad but true. Another one is seasonings. How could you possibly think to look at the back of a seasoning label to make sure there's no oil in it? Make sure you're checking your labels first and foremost. Okay, finally, what can you do with this information? It's super simple, but you might not like the answer, and it's to cook all your meals at home. Our society is getting way too comfortable calling somebody to deliver their food that they don't even get to watch them make. They have no idea what's in it. They just consume it and trust the establishment that made the food. That blows my mind because these people do not have your health in their best interest. Okay, maybe they mean well. Maybe they are completely ignorant to the fact that they are delivering you a bunch of drug-like substances at a whim of dialing them up on your cell phone. But that is not the point. The point is, if you make all your meals at home, you can ensure what is in them, but even maybe more importantly, what's not in them. So this takes some time and some practice, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, the less time it takes. It's just like learning any skill. As soon as you get down what your go-to recipes are and what seasonings go with what and what foods you really, really, really don't like prepared a certain way and what foods work in another way, it becomes second nature. Just like anything that you do, like brushing your teeth or taking a shower, you just start to prep and cook all of your meals at home. I know it's super convenient and tempting to add a lot of processed foods into your meals because those are so palatable and they make everything taste good and it makes life a lot easier. But you're not making life easier if you are harming your health in more ways than you need to be. Food is supposed to nourish us. It's not supposed to cause disease, contrary to what the average person is probably going through right now. When you use the whole plant food as grown, you are ensuring that you're not getting all of those harmful byproducts that are created in the processing system. So you're maintaining nutrition and you are ensuring that additives are not included in your food. We don't even know what a number of these different emulsifiers and texturizers and flavoring agents are doing to our body and our microbiome and our brain and our heart and our kidneys, and everything that is supposed to work in sync with our food is now going awry and causing all sorts of havoc just because people are getting more and more accustomed to these processed convenience items. It is so much easier than you think to make all your own goodies at home. Even things like plant milk. What is plant milk? Literally just some nuts or seeds or soybeans, and you just blend it up with some water and there's your plant milk. You don't have to add guar gum and sugar and salt and all those other artificial ingredients that are just going to cause more problems in your body and induce more weight gain. Also, hummus, as I mentioned earlier, could not be more simple. You literally just put some garbanzo beans or some lentils or black beans, whatever kind of legume you want to use, put a little cumin, some lime juice, and maybe some water. You blend it up, there's your hummus. And it tastes so much better than the store-bought variety, I promise. You can also make your own dressings. Personally, I just use vinegar. It's so much easier. I know this is processed and I do not make it at home, but it is one of my only exceptions because it is very healthful and it's incredibly supportive for weight loss. But you can also make other like bean-based dressings or nut-based dressings if you're interested in consuming nuts while you're trying to lose weight. There are so many different options out there. You don't have to rely on store-bought varieties. You can also make your own trail mix, granola, pizza crust. There are so many recipes online these days that are completely SOS free, salt, oil, and sugar free. So just use them at your disposal and incorporate these into your life. It may seem a little intimidating at first, but I'm sure after you get the hang of things, after you try a few of these different recipes, you'll be very impressed with yourself and your skills will build in no time. So I have a full video on the different substitutions you can use for the usual oil, salt, and sugar that you would be using in baking or cooking techniques. I will insert that video here for any of those that want to watch that after this video. But first, I'll just give you a preview of some of the items that you can use instead of those harmful additives. So for baking, instead of oil, I use things like sweet potato, pumpkin, and other squash puree. You can also use applesauce or other pureed fruits. The most commonly used alternative when it comes to oil is likely the flax egg. This is super simple, and I actually have a video demonstrating this that I will put here. But a quick run through, literally all you do is mix some water with some ground flaxseed, and it turns into this gelatinous, oily substance that a lot of people use to replace their oil or their eggs in their baking. Cooking could not be more simple and flavorful when you're doing it oil-free. You actually retain more of the nutrition. My simple go-to is water. Water sauteing is the easiest free option available. You just add about a tablespoon of warm water every, I don't know, a couple minutes or so, depending on how high the heat is and how much you want your food cooked before it starts to stick to the pan, what kind of pan you're using, all those sorts of things. So all you do is add about a tablespoon of warm water at a time and keep moving your food around. Yes, you have to stay at the stove and you have to continue moving your food, but it is totally worth it because you know there's no oil in your food. Other items that really help create that same kind of function that oil does in cooking are things like onions, garlic, homemade veggie stock, vinegar, mustard. There are so many options that you don't have to feel restricted to using just oil in your baking and cooking for these specific functions and tastes. Just to recap, all most people need to lose weight and maintain that weight loss is to simply eat their foods as grown. This is the one strategy I have used for the past 2 years to maintain over a 30-pound weight loss, but with ease. This is passive. I mean, yes, it does take a lot of energy and forethought to be making all your own food, but after you get the hang of it, it really doesn't. It's just like any other day or any other task. It's like doing the laundry or vacuuming your house. It's just something that you do to maintain a healthy, happy life. So by ensuring that that oil is not anywhere in your food, you can ensure that the pounds will fall off eventually. This is different for everybody, but I definitely reassure you that it is a million times easier off the oil than on the oil. I hope this video was helpful, guys. I'll see you in the next one.